For thousands of years, humans looked up at the birds in the sky and dreamed of flight. The idea of soaring above the clouds was once a fantasy, a myth, a legend. From ancient sketches by Leonardo da Vinci to stories of Icarus and his wax wings, mankind had always imagined taking to the skies. But it wasn't until the dawn of the 20th century that that dream became reality. On December 17, 1903, two bicycle mechanics from Ohio, Wilbur and Orville Wright, launched a fragile wooden craft into the cold wind of Kitty Hawk. The flight lasted just 12 seconds, but in that brief moment, everything changed. That short leap turned human history in a new direction. The age of powered flight had begun, with no GPS, no radar, no autopilot. Just canvas wings, wooden frames, and unshakable courage. Flying in those early years was anything but safe. There were no digital maps, no weather forecasts, and no radio communication. Pilots relied on paper charts, magnetic compasses, and their instincts. Often, they flew low to follow rivers or railway lines. If fog rolled in or a storm appeared, they had no backup. Many aircraft were open cockpit, leaving the pilot exposed to freezing wind, rain, and even birds. One wrong move could mean disaster. But how do aircraft fly at all? The answer lies in four basic forces: lift, weight, thrust, and drag. When the engine provides thrust, the forward motion, the shape of the wings slices the air, creating lift that pulls the plane upward. But gravity constantly pulls it down, and the air pushes back, creating drag. In modern aircraft, computers balance these forces automatically. But in the early days, pilots managed all of this by hand, pulling levers, adjusting rudders, constantly correcting the plane's direction. Turbulence was rough. Controls were shaky. Many aircraft didn't even have proper brakes. Landing was an art of survival. Each flight was a gamble, and every successful landing was a triumph. In 1927, Charles Lindbergh made history by flying solo across the Atlantic from New York to Paris in the spirit of St. Louis. Louis. He had no co-pilot, no radio, and no autopilot. He navigated by following the stars and the compass, crossing over 3,600 miles of open water. For over 33 hours, he battled fatigue, cold, and uncertainty, with no backup and no second chances. His achievement became